Hey guys, so if you jumped on the seedling snail trend this season, this is something that I discovered last year, and I did it with a few of my indoor seed starting seeds, and I really loved it. And this year I'm going all in. So if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I've been using this for my onions, my flowers, my peppers. So one of the cons that I found with the seedling snail is building them. I find them a little bit finicky and hard to put together. You make kind of a mess. Got to spread it all out on your counter, and if you're working indoors or in your basement, it can get a little bit messy. So I've discovered an easier, less messier way to roll up a snail that I want to share with you, along with a few other things that I am doing with the seedling snails. So stick with me and let's get into it. So if this is your first time joining me, my name is Tracy, and I am a year-round gardener living on the prairies, Zone 3, Saskatchewan, Canada. So on my channel, I like to show people, no matter where they live, no matter how cold their climate is, that you can grow food all year round. So right now we are heading into mid-March. It is all about seed starting and planning that outdoor garden. So I have been doing lots of seed starting indoors. I've been doing the winter sowing. We are heading into mid-March. So I'm kind of holding off on a few things that I usually would have started by now, that I'm trying to restrain myself and wait. But I do have a few things to plant up this week, and I want to be able to show you kind of a little bit of what's going on with my seedling snails, all the different stages that they're at, and then we will get into how to quickly roll one up with less mess. So as you see behind me here, this is where I start most of my seedlings. I have some seedling heat mats going, and I got my LED grow lights. These aren't official grow lights, they're just LED shop lights. They work great for seed starting. And I've got a few different snails going here. So this one was for pansies, and as you can see, it's quite a big snail. So that's one of the things that I'm kind of customizing with my seedling snails, is to make different sizes. Most of them, the standard is a 6-inch height. And if you want to make it smaller, like I did here with this celery, I've just started that on March 1st. There's just tiny little celeries coming up here, but I didn't need a ton of celery. I wanted lots of pansies, but I only need a few of these. So just making a smaller snail by cutting it into shorter strips, something like this, which I don't know, is probably only about less than 30 inches long. You can get a smaller snail like this. Just put it inside one of your plant pots that you saved from last year, and it helps keep it sturdy. That works really well. As you'll see up here, I don't know if you can see this, but I have some potato vines and some coleuses that I took cuttings from last fall, brought them in, rooted them in water, planted them up in soil, and I got several of them in my window here down in the basement and up here. And now I'm going to be taking cuttings from them, rooting them, and getting them ready so that I can plant them out in my pots again this summer. And it's such a great way to save money, because these can be very expensive to buy at the greenhouse. And also, if you want to start them from seed, that takes time, that takes up more space that you may want for other things. So this is what I'm trying in my seedling snail now, and that is to root the cuttings using the snail. So I just did this a few days ago with some of the coleus. So I took cuttings from it, trimmed back, made sure there was 2 or 3 nodes from the stem. They're going to be in the soil here. Wrapped it back up. Right now, the leaves are kind of curling and not looking very happy, but I'm going to check into this, in a couple weeks. Hopefully some roots will start popping through the bottom, and this will be a successful way to root cuttings using a seedling snail. So peppers is something that us cold climate gardeners should have started by now. I have started quite a few of them a few weeks ago. They're in my grow tent. I have a grow tent with, a nice big grow light and a fan and a timer, which is great. So I'm moving all of my seedlings into there once they get past that 2 or 3 leaf stage, I move them to the grow tent. So I'm lucky to have that, but you don't need it to grow seedlings, of course. A setup like this of shelving with the lights and a timer works really well. The other day I found some more pepper seeds that I forgot to start, and these were the sweet Italian frying peppers, and they are a great pepper to grow in our climate, and I've had good success with them, so I thought I should start some more. So I just started them on March 7th, so just a few days ago, and I am just keeping it moist. It's not under the grow lights. It's sitting on a seedling heat mat here waiting to germinate, and as soon as I see those little seedlings popping through, I will move them up under my lights here. Okay, so before we get rolling up a snail here, there's just a few things I want to just go over in case this is your first time doing one, couple tips. And starting with the soil, so you want to be using a good quality potting soil, not just seed starting mix, because most of the things you're going to be doing in your snail are going to be staying in there, hopefully right up until you transplant them outside. So you want to have some of that nutrition in that soil. So I am using just a good quality potting soil. You can also make your own with some seed starting mix and vermiculite, a little bit of all-purpose organic fertilizer. I've done that as well, and just make your own. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure that it is good and moist. You want it to be able to hold together like this so that it, doesn't squeeze out moisture, but it is moist enough to hold together. And if you're going to be doing this indoors, which most people will be, I use this trick of using boiling water to moisten my soil, and that helps hopefully kill off any fungus gnats or fungus gnat eggs that could be in that potting soil that you bring into your house. And again, you want to have your materials ready. So I always go with a 6-inch height size of plastic or foam wrap, bubble wrap. This was one of my potting soil bags here that I just cut up into strips. It was originally super long. This was all one piece here, but I cut it in half because I just want to make small snails. I don't want a huge snail. Like I said, if you want to plant a lot of one variety of something, usually the flowers, having a big snail that you can put a lot into works good. This is something that I purchased a roll of. It's foam, I guess, packing foam that you would use for packing dishes. This works really good. And I got another strip here. This will make a fairly good size snail. And as far as the tape, I've been using tuck tape. That works really good. I don't have it here. I'm using tuck tape on my winter sewing jug, so it's probably out in the garage. But what I found is this stuff works really good, just painter's tape, because it's not super sticky. If you need to unravel your snail, this comes apart really easy. Just make sure before you build your snail that you have a couple pieces of it ready. And because I'm just making a little snail, sometimes they get a little tippy and fall over, which can be really frustrating. So that's why I suggest if you save your seedling pots that you get from, a greenhouse, something like these things here work really good to hold your snail, keep it steady. So we're going to start off with one of these. Most of the time you see people building the snails, they have it laid out on a table in a potting mat, kind of like what I have here. And, you have to bring the dirt out and spread it. But what I found, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due, this is another trick that I learned from Frankie Lou, who has a great winter sewing channel, and she builds these seedling snails and puts them into a winter sewing jug, calls it a snug. That's something that I'm going to be doing as well. But when she's building her snug, she just does it right in her container here instead of laying it out on a table. And I find that this is so much easier, quicker, and less messy. So you just start off at the end of it by putting in your soil and pressing it down so that you get good start on it before you start rolling it up. And after you've done the first part of it, just give it a little squeeze and then start to roll. And don't worry too much about the dirt falling out at the ends or the sides. You can always pack it in at the ends. And then as you roll, just keep adding. I usually put about an inch thick of soil, pat it down, do a little bit more rolling. Keep adding your dirt. And then when you get towards the end, you can just roll it up here. Grab your tape and get your snail all secured. It's a little finicky when you're using gloves. It's not holding on me. You can always add more tape. I like to just kind of jam some of that dirt into the bottom. Just press it in with your fingers just to keep it hold in there. And then you can kind of work on your top here as well. Just kind of find where that coils are. You can kind of move it around just so when you're planting those seeds, you're going to get that division of the roots. The plastic walls will keep all those roots separate, like that. Just grab a pot here and stick it in, and you're ready to plant it up. So I just find this really simple and easy, and I can do like 5 or 6, however many things I want to plant on that day, get them all ready inside this one container and go from there. So I'll just do another one that's going to be a bigger one. Today I am planning on planting up some rosemary, some begonias, and some ground cherries. So we are at about that 10 weeks from last frost. So I'm just kind of calculating out what is okay to start now. Just want to always keep track of your last frost date and figure out what you should be starting now. For me in Zone 3 Saskatchewan, my last frost date lands around the middle of May. I usually plant out the majority of my garden the 3rd week of May, the long weekend, because that's when my grandma used to do it. And, you know, usually all risk of frost is past by then, but it's something you have to keep an eye on too. Like you have to watch that 14-day forecast, check those nighttime temperatures, and just plan around that. So that's something we'll be talking about on the channel all through the next, 8 to 10 weeks. I'd also like to just point out that I have some cold climate gardening guides that I like to share for you. They're free to download. I have a 12-month garden planner that shows you all the different things you can grow all year round, no matter where you live. And there's a couple other free guides in there as well. So the link to that is in the description box. A couple other great features about the seedling snail is that you can, unravel it at any time, add more soil if you need to. You can thin out things such as my petunias because they are such tiny seeds. You end up with, way more than you need and they get crowded. You can take the tape off, unravel your snail, thin them out. I just did that recently with my impatiens seedlings because they were very overcrowded. They're going through a little bit of transplant shock right now, so I'm hoping that it turns out okay. Another great thing is that all of this material that I'm using is repurposed plastic, like you say, bags. Those bubble wrap bags from Amazon are really good. Those are my favorite. This foam packing stuff can be reused every year. I actually saved all of my seedling snail wrapping from last year, just folded it up, put it away in my garden shed, was able to pull it out this spring and reuse it. So that's another great feature about the snails. So this is a bit of a bigger snail, so it should be sturdy enough that you don't have to stick it into a pot, but if you have one, you can. And again, I just try to kind of define the snail path here, the spiral, so that when I go to put the seeds into it, they are going to be well separated. Really not sure how this is going to turn out for my begonias. These are seeds that I took in the fall from some begonia plants that I had in my pots. I think I have seeds here, but I know they are super tiny, so I'm just going to test it out here. And something like these that are very fine, you can't really control how much you're planting, but you can, like I said, with the snail, you can easily unravel and thin them out. I wait until they are getting, quite crowded and past, that about that 4-leaf stage, and then just unravel the snail, thin them out, and you can double it up into 2 snails or 3 snails. But again, you are saving on so much space because, taking this and doubling it into 2 snails is really not going to take up much more space under your grow lights. So once I got a layer of seeds on there, I'm just going to lightly sprinkle a little more of this potting soil. I don't want to pack it down or make it too compacted. You can also add a little bit of vermiculite on top. That just helps retain that moisture and control some of that damping off if you have that issue. And then a little bit of moisture on top. Grab a baggie. Baggies or bread bags work great just to create a quick humidity dome. Keep that on there. Sometimes I even spritz the inside of the bag just to add a little humidity in there. There we go, all planted up. The only thing I have to do, make sure is I label it and date it so I remembered what I planted. So I hope you found that kind of helpful. I don't know if you do the snails, but let me know in the comments. Are you doing the seedling snail method? What are you planting? What do you like about it? Just let me know in the comments. And if there's anything in this whole process that I may have missed explaining or you have questions on, leave one in the comments. Or if you want to be part of a very interactive gardening community, I have one going on the school platform, Gardeners Growing Together. We are reaching almost 400 members, cold climate gardeners from all around Canada and the US that are talking about everything gardening. So you can find the link to join in the description box below. And don't forget to grab those free cold climate gardening guides, link in the description box below. So I'll be doing lots more seed starting indoors and through the winter sowing method over the next few weeks. So I hope that you will keep watching on my channel for those videos. Spring is coming pretty soon. We're going to be able to get outside and get into the dirt. Can't wait for that. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.